from the sea, with a taste of salt on your glowing lips, on your hair and on your skin. You came from the sea to lay down near me. You came here and the sun was accompanying you. And she replied with the words of Onassis, "We must free ourselves of the hope that the sea will ever rest. We must learn to sail in high winds." For their wedding trip, they went to Izola. Like in any marriage, they had to compromise. After traveling to another country, which was the start of many long voyages for the little Barka, they returned back to the familiar place where Guts felt like at home. They were inseparable, strolling along the town streets and sightseeing, running through the chalet tunnel, but both enjoyed the lulling of the boat the most. The little Barka was happy to visit the resting place of Rex. That was the most beautiful, the fastest and the most modern ship of its time, which went down somewhere between Izola and Koper. It was the ship of all ships, a city afloat with everything a city needs, a library, a post office, a radio station, a printing office, a news publisher, a cinema, 2 children's playgrounds, a beauty salon, a barber shop, and a hairdresser. It had its own ballroom too. The small Barka practiced dance steps for days to stir up the right atmosphere for this ship of all ships. She could imagine herself on this mega ship and could smell the faraway seas that were unreachable for her, small as she was. Hard to admit, although she knew it, she felt fear of such long distances, and Rex enticed a feeling of respecting her. He was so big, and now he lays deep under the sea. How am I supposed to make such a long voyage, small as I am? She thought. But for then, listening to stories about him and watching photos of him at the Marion Kral Gallery was enough. Guts stood by and watched the diligent fishermen plow through the rich Izola seabed. Fishing nets bent under the weight of anchovies, sardines, and mackerel. What a joyful sight it was! The silvery blue glitter of plump muscular tuna fish that wriggled on special fishing boats in command. It all reminded him of his childhood and his family fishing tradition. How his heart would flutter every time a fishing net was being pulled up. The reason was the mineral-rich Izola Sea that ensured full fishing nets every time. He recognized the pride of the fishermen, handing over their catch to factory workers who took care of the fish from then on. They arranged them in metal beds, fondled them with best olive oil, and sometimes cheered them up with finely chopped vegetables. Some were made into fine patties, which literally melted in the mouths of the gentlefolk. Men would close their eyes, out of pleasure, when a fish would touch their taste buds, and their tongues would press against the roof of their mouths to extract as much taste from them as possible. This is my world. I am this sea. I was made to bond with these fish, he thought. The love that Guts and little Barka felt for each other was encouraged by their love of the sea, and so every now and then they visited the Isolana Sea House, enjoyed their collections and watched photos and films with maritime and fishing themes. They also went to the shipyard. Little Barka was happy to remember her habits from Rijeka and met the precious shipbuilders. June was especially fun. There was the olive, wine and fish festival, which showed promise of a perfect party. One day they were swaying on the morning waves and demonstrating their skills. Little Barka was slaloming between buoys and skillfully turning her white sail, while Guts kept rewarding her with a new sort of fish each time he pulled up his fishing net. A local fishing boat named Miser was watching them, admiring Guts' skills with finding and catching fish, not to mention the amount of fish he caught. The fishing boat was so thrilled, he decided to address them. The skills Guts is demonstrating could help us improve our fishing. They sat together and had breakfast, and thus a local friendship was born. Guts was soon asked to join them in fish catching, and he accepted it with both oars. Shortly thereafter, he was offered a job with the fish factory, and he caught as many fish for them as no other boat. Little Barka still dreamed about great adventures. But the timing was not right. First, there was some morning sickness, and 9 months later, friends from the shipyard helped with the birth of their son, little Glisser. It was the parents' happiest time. He inherited his mother's liability and speed and resembled her a little, but did not grow a lot later on. Sometimes he went fishing with his father, but felt rather cozy in a more modern environment. That was why he felt working with tourists his calling. His mother dedicated herself to her son's education, while his father kept himself busy with fish, which meant the world to him.